Welcome. I am Jamie Cope with the WVU Industrial Extension. Glad to have Matt Bohr with us from the West Virginia Department of Economic Development. And you are at the West Virginia Manufacturers Virtual Roundtable. Hopefully that's where you were hoping to be today. We're going to keep this real informal because there's not a whole lot of us here, so we want to make this as interactive as possible. Feel free to put questions in the chat, or we can probably just unmute and speak up if you've got something to say. Before we get rolling too far, I wanted to make everybody aware of some other stuff that we've got coming up. We've got a cybersecurity webinar coming up on November the 3rd, and we've got two opportunities for some leadership training. Those are going to be done in Wheeling, November 19th and November 18th. And those details on all of that and other events that are coming up can be found on our website, wvmep.com, and then check out events, which is where you registered for this stuff. So it's all good and all there. So yeah, like I said, let's just have some fun. Let's make this as interactive as we can. Excited to have the guys from Stockmiere Urethanes with us today. We've got Mike and Jeffrey with us. I'm going to talk just a little bit before we bring you guys in. I think everybody here knows, but the WVU Industrial Extension, the very short of it is we work with the manufacturers in the state of West Virginia to help them thrive and grow. We do that in a lot of ways, but a lot of it's through training. We have some specialization in health and safety. We've got a lot of work that we do with ISO certifications, and we do work in continuous improvement and lean, helping people do things better, faster, and reduce waste. We also do a lot of energy assessments, as most folks know that we do work closely with the Industrial Assessment Center. So that's just a real quick overview. We don't want to get down into the weeds too much. We want to talk to the guys at Stockmiere, but before we get connected with them, Matt, I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk a little bit about the great stuff that's going on there at the West Virginia Department of Economic Development.
Yeah, thank you, Jamie. Thanks for having me on again, and it's always great to get into some more interaction virtually or in person with manufacturing companies and other partner resources within my geographical region. So a little bit about me. I think some of you that are online are actually representing many of the counties that I work in. So I'm in an 8-county region, north central West Virginia. I live in Preston County. So I basically have the northern end of the I-79 corridor from Lewis County up through Harrison, Marion, Mon, then out through Doddridge, Ritchie, and Taylor and Preston. So that's my geographical area. As a business retention expansion regional manager, basically interacting with companies, manufacturing, industrial sectors of all nature, and also with associated service companies, supply chains, warehouse distribution, so forth. So it's very interesting to know the diversified economy that we have, the diversified amount of companies that we have in my region, and it's really exciting area to work on within the boundaries of the state of West Virginia. I've been in position 9 years now, so it's getting to be repetitive in many of the companies, even though there may be some name changes or acquisitions or new managers or so forth that I work with, but I've been around many of the businesses over the past 9 years, and it's a great opportunity to just bring resources and assistance to the companies that perhaps they're unaware of or that they could utilize to grow and expand in the state of West Virginia. And today we're going to focus on workforce, and we can go into that a little bit deeper when time comes, but thank you all for having me.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. Always great to work with you. It's Matt can get me in places that I can't get in, so it's always fun to pal around with him whenever we get a chance to visit folks. But what we're excited to talk about today is Stockmiere Urethanes, and we've got, like I said, Matt Kingston and Jeffrey Kramer with us from there. So if you guys don't mind, could you give us just some bullet points about who you are, what you're doing there at Stockmiere, and what Stockmiere does as a whole for folks that may not know.
Sure. So I'm Mike Kingston. Right now, I'm a research and development engineer here at Stockmiere Urethanes, but I actually started in our quality control department as kind of just a lowly lab grunt, and I've worked my way up into R&D engineer. What I do now is I may work on some new products, improving old existing products, or very occasionally, we'll look at, if a customer has had a problem with an installation or something, they'll send us out to do a field evaluation. We do kind of a little bit of everything here in the R&D department.
So I'm Jeffrey Kramer. I was brought in, I guess, a year and a half ago here as an R&D engineer. I didn't start off like Mike did in the lab, but I kind of got started with the full-time. Excuse me. But I'm doing the same things Mike is doing now, kind of looking, I guess, not only at the products, but looking at process side to kind of trying to improve products for a wider range of applications, industries, and customers.
Yeah, no, that's great. And talk about some of the end products that result from what happened in there at Stockmiere.
Absolutely. So we have a really kind of wide catalog of products. We make products for making sports like running tracks, basketball courts, tennis courts. We do coatings for recycled tires, going in for like rubber mulch at playgrounds, or even like flower beds. We have industrial coatings, roof coatings. We make the products that will one day become makeup applicators. I mean, we do a little bit of everything here, and we kind of pride ourselves on our ability to adapt and diversify our catalog.
No, that's great. And you guys have about between 50 and 75 employees there, is that right?
Yeah, somewhere around there. I would imagine that those numbers are going to continue to grow. I think they certainly have since I started about 5 years ago, and we're hiring new people all the time.
Yeah, and that's the West Virginia office. It's an international organization, correct? I mean, you guys are all over.
So there is we're a part of the Stockmiere Group, which is I think in 2021 we were the 15th largest chemical distributor in the world. Stockmiere Urethanes falls under that kind of large umbrella, but we have our main office here in Clarksburg, West Virginia. We also have our plant in the United Kingdom, Germany, and France.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah.
Facility in Dubai now as well.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's
nice.
a recent one.
If you guys need me to do any consulting over there, I'm available, just so you know.
When I go, you'll go too.
We gotta go first.
Right. So one of the hot button issues that we've been tackling, and we just might as well jump into the hard one, right, is workforce, right? So I was kind of surprised. We were chatting earlier, and it sounds like you guys are pretty much where you need to be, or where you'd like to be as far as employment levels. Is that accurate?
Yeah, so obviously the past couple of years have been hard on every industry, to be real. We've certainly lost some people through the pandemic, whether they just wanted to stay home, or found other opportunities. Certainly we haven't been it hasn't been necessarily easy going, but just this past week, I think we filled our final, open position, which has largely been actually on the production side. We used to have kind of one unified shift, and we've split that apart. So it just kind of necessitated some growth in that team, and it took a little while, but we're finally there.
Oh no, that's great. Well, I think there's lots of factors with how the workforce ebbs and flows, and then obviously the strain that's been put on it through the pandemic and other things has been extreme. But I think one of the things that seems to help those folks that are doing well, I guess, is the culture within the organization. Can you guys speak a little bit to how the culture affects the environment there where you're working?
Absolutely. Stockmiere, despite being, part of a much larger kind of group, Stockmiere Urethanes prides themselves on being kind of a local family company. The owner and CEO of our company, Christian Martincott, his office is a couple 100 feet away from mine. So I see him every day. Our administrators and our team really like to kind of work together. We do sometimes, restrictions willing, we do company events where everyone will get together and share a meal, or a few weeks ago, we went to the Fright Farm, and generally the company is, encouraging us and covering our, any fees associated with these events, to just really encourage that sense of family and kind of togetherness as a team, which is very important, I think.
Yeah, I think we have, from the top, I think one of the interesting things that we have too is, when you come in after, a month after you're working here, you get to meet the CEO, who's a big, player, not just in our part of the group, but in the, big Stockmiere group, like Mike mentioned, 15th biggest. And so I think that's a big thing, is everyone gets to meet it. That's production workers. That's from top to bottom. We're going to have everyone kind of gets an idea of what we're about in those meetings, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, while I haven't had the opportunity to visit Stockmiere yet, I have had an opportunity to meet several of the folks from there. Our team has spent a lot of time there, and they have a great relationship with us. So when it came time to test our Lean 101 training, where we got to put Legos together, we had several from the Stockmiere team come in, and they were kind of our guinea pigs. And I will say that there was a lot of laughing. There was a lot of camaraderie, you could tell this is a group that you want to hang out with, right? These are just good people. So that definitely came across. And I see Jose is with us. We did that same training there at Pierpont. We guinea pigged it on Stockmiere, and then we did it for real at Pierpont later. So.
Gotcha.
But yeah, and thank you for letting us, being such a gracious host for us there at Pierpont as well.
We do try.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, really successful there, and it's exploding. We're getting lots of opportunities to do that now, so it's fun stuff. But yeah, in fact, we're going to do it at Stockmiere here in the next month or so, I think, right?
Yeah, I think we're it may be early January, but I know it's soon.
I think you're right. I think
yeah,
you're
it's
right.
We're gonna start after the first of the year.
First of the year. Okay, great. So yeah, and that's one of those things that I think the people who we were testing it on recognized not just the opportunity to get to do some brush up and teaching in the lean area or how to reduce waste, but also I think it's a great team building exercise where everybody kind of gets to see how maybe the fact that this person isn't getting things done on time isn't necessarily that person's fault. Maybe we all need to look at why it's happening and the bigger picture. So it's a great training, and looking forward to being there whenever you guys go through that as well. I'm going to be a part of that. So
absolutely, we're looking forward to it.
Good stuff. And another thing that we have done with you guys is a lot of our ISO certification work, or your ISO certification work. We've done some system builds and some internal auditor training too. Now I know you guys weren't involved directly with that. That's right?
Right. We our actually the gentleman that couldn't make it here with us today, Brian, he was very involved. But we get audited every year, so we're at least up to we know what we need to know for the audit, and
sure.
We've got, of course, our kind of quality policy. Everyone needs to know that. But I think the ISO 9001, we were certified like right before I started about 5 years ago. And then we have this RC 14001 that we're working on, I think, right now.
So yeah, and for folks that don't know what that RC 14001 is, that's the environmental ISO certification, right? So again, I think that goes back to culture quite a bit. The fact that there's a recognized need for a management system to be in place, plus one that is going to be environmentally conscious, right? So I think that that's one of those things that can show what's important from the top down. I don't know, you guys see that? Or
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're a chemical manufacturer, so we're always concerned with, the environment and what our products may do to it. So, we kind of pride ourselves on a big part of our business, the recycled tire business, turning, this kind of garbage into, a end product that people can use and will not just be taking up space in a landfill. So, really, that's part of our core business is trying to impact the environment in a positive way wherever we can. And, it just made sense for us to go for this new ISO certification.
Hey, Jamie,
yes,
if you don't mind me asking, exactly RC 14001, this is an environmental training?
it's a management system.
Okay.
So all ISO systems are management systems, and you guys please step in if I wander off a little bit too far. But so it's a process that it's a quality management system. So it shows that you're meeting certain levels of quality, that you're measuring things, that you're making sure that everything is up to a standard that you've set. So the 14001 is an environmental standard that you have to make sure that you're not putting too much pollution in the environment, things like that, right? I think that's probably an oversimplification, but
Sure.
that's my level of understanding, at
And
least.
that's a training that you guys offer, or where?
So it's not so much of a training as it is, well, and very short is yes, but it's more of a, we come in and help build the system. So there's not a one size fits all system. It's we come in and we evaluate what you're doing. We see where there needs to be certain measurements and key production indicators that are maintained or watched, and we help develop that system, build that system, and then as these guys were saying, the certification happens with an auditor that comes in. So you're audited once the system is set up, and then you're audited later as the system maintains to make sure that you're on track with your ISO certification and what needs to be there. So we do internal auditor training, and we also do system builds from the ground up. And that's Mark Hinline with our group oversees that, and he's fantastic. In the last roundtable that we did in the Northern Panhandle, he worked with a group that did a system build from the ground up, and the auditor came in to get things started and didn't find any flaws in the system, which that's unheard of. So yeah, so just bragging on our guy Mark, he does a great job. But as long as we're bragging, I'll talk about the program that Matt Bohr is tied to. We've talked about this lean training. We're talking about internal auditor training. All of that is covered under the governor's guaranteed workforce, right, Matt?
Yeah, that's a critical item that from a taxpayer's point of view, from companies that are in operating, manufacturing, so forth in West Virginia. This is funded through the West Virginia legislature. That my agency, the Department of Economic Development, has basically a pool of money every year to help companies apply for and to receive fundings to train employees, and that it's very beneficial to many of the companies who there are a number of companies who just we run on the state fiscal year start July 1, who have habitually July 1, they fill out another training application for the coming months, so they can just get that in. And, some of these amounts are in that, 10, 15, 20, 30, $40,000. And it's not uncommon for companies to receive 50,000 or more
Oh,
per
wow.
year to train employees.
What kind of
and
training qualifies?
Excuse me?
And what kind of training qualifies, Matt?
Wow, it's probably easier to explain what doesn't.
I see.
Uh,
Okay.
So yeah, and we can get into a depth much later when some examples, but I'll just rattle off a handful of companies that have utilized our program from North Central West Virginia just in the past few years. CityNet in Harrison County, with IT broadband expansions going on. Manufacturers over in Marion County with ND Paper, PCM Industrial Services and Pioneer Conveyor, and Superior Fibers in Preston County. North Star Technologies and KCI Aviation, a couple companies in Harrison and Taylor County. Mountaintop Beverage, the new beverage facility is being built in Morgantown, and as well as DEMIA, or National Security Solutions, based in Morgantown, which is a tech biometrics firm. And what's kind of, I won't say unique, but give you an idea of how this funding can be utilized with Mountaintop Beverage and National Security Solutions. They're both utilizing international travel in this. They have National Security Solutions has a facility in France, and they are using our funds to help cover some of the travel and training costs for a handful of workers out of Morgantown to go get update on new software that's getting rolled out to their customers in the U.S. And then Mountaintop, obviously, with their new construction of their process in Morgantown, is basically the equipment that is made in Italy and Germany. They've sent a few workers to those companies to get hands-on training at the manufacturer. Then once the equipment shows up here, they're kind of already trained in-house, so there'll be a train-the-trainer situation as they hire the operators later on this year. So we have great opportunities, and it's not just our program. We have a certain amount of money and certain type of funding, but other resources in the area include the Region 6 Workforce Investment Board, which has federal money that companies can apply for. The U.S. Department of Labor has obviously apprenticeship program to help companies utilize a very structured point A to B to C to D of a worker to get the skill set where they need to be in, within an 18-month, a 12-month, 15-month, 18-month program. We have money to help pay for apprenticeship funding on that type of program as well, but then also with Pierpont, with their Learn and Earn program,
Right.
internships and so forth. So there's a variety of workforce assistance programs that I've shared with over the past number of years with companies, just to figure out what works at that company. And,
Sure.
I don't believe there's any competition amongst the resources, but the companies, I know KCI and I believe ND Paper have both utilized at least two of those programs. So anyway, it's out there. We just, just knock on our door. I'm constantly knocking on doors to try to get in and get this in front of companies, but there's plenty of help. And there's no such thing as a bad question or an opportunity to ask questions about any of the programs. So,
yeah. And I assume Nancy there pesters Matt pretty regularly, but yeah, I wouldn't hesitate to reach out to him. If you've got industrial clients coming through,
Sure.
I would that are getting any kind of training there at Pierpont, I would say that Matt could probably
Sure.
find some way to help pay for it. So
Sure. No, thank you.
yeah. So and then I assume I don't know if you know Matt or not, but there's his contact information if you'd like to reach out to him, or I can connect you. So
I wrote
he's
it down.
really not that nice of a guy, but if you want to talk to him, I would go ahead.
yeah.
I wrote it down.
Okay, good deal. So yeah, as far as the you guys at Stockmiere there, is there anything else that you guys would like to fill us in? We're kind of closing in on a half an hour here. Is there anything that you would like to talk about that is going on there at Stockmiere that maybe we haven't discussed?
So there is a kind of a recent initiative that we've been a part of. It's called the First Two Network. And it's actually been wonderful that we've had this video through the Manufacturing Association to kind of be able to share the earlier video with them. And then we have this new one we're going to share. And First Two Network is a program that serves to encourage rural first-time STEM students in college to kind of go the distance and retain those students and hopefully have them move into the workforce here in West Virginia. And of course, STEM, that's going to be a lot of manufacturing when it comes to this state. So we've been working with them a little bit, supplying kind of industry related lab experiments at Fairmont State, so students can kind of see what a real life application of some of their testing is, and it ties into just trying to keep people here for the West Virginia manufacturing.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. In fact, we support you in that mission quite a bit, and I think that it's interesting. I've had manufacturers come to me and say, I need to hire an engineer. And obviously we work very closely with WVU. I mean, that's our mothership, right? So I'll connect them with the career services at WVU, and they'll say, okay, do you want to talk to freshman engineers or sophomore engineers? Because the juniors all have internships and the seniors all have jobs. So if you really want to start growing those future technology related and manufacturing related employees, you have to start as early as you can, right? And I think that you guys were also very active in Manufacturing Day. The video that went out, we were just talking earlier, I think it's up to about 139, 140 views. So yeah, I think that shows a lot of foresight on your part, and it can only help everyone, right? I think it's
exactly
creating that pipeline for you, but it's also got everybody in the area is going to benefit with these folks that are kind of tuned in, right?
Of course, obviously we have a bit of a selfish interest. We want good STEM graduates from West Virginia, but really, like, we're based here in Clarksburg, and this is where we want to stay. So we want this area to keep growing. We want manufacturing to continue to be a growing industry in West Virginia. So even though not all of these students that we reach out to are going to be ultimately our employees, it's just we can't resist growing the industry as a whole.
It's a big thing, just that they know we're there. I think if you have, when you're looking at college students, they may not realize everything that's going on around them, but just to know it's like, oh, there are these nice manufacturing companies, opportunities that exist not that far from home. So that was a big goal for us, I think.
Sure. Yeah, I grew up in West Virginia and worked several years for tourism, and spent the whole time saying, wow, I didn't know that was here. Wow, this is incredible. And now in the manufacturing world, every day I'm still, years after being in this industry for several years, it's wow, that's made here. Wow, they do that. So I think the more we can get those young people tuned in to what's going on, the better off we're all going to be. So and our effort to do that, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Tracy's great brainchild, which was we have partnered with Blinko Glass, which is down this way, to do a student design challenge. Last year was our first year doing that, and a student named Charlie Gall came up with an idea for a sun catcher. And what's amazing is, so you've got this young man, 14, 15 years old, designs this sun catcher, and you can go to Blinko Glass and order it online or from their lobby now, which is just fantastic, right? I mean, he gets to see that the whole process, and he had to make some on his own, and Tracy and I got to make some too, which was a lot of fun. But that design challenge is going on now, and that's on our website as well. So you can go to wvmep.com and look under manufacturing design challenge, and we're going to extend the deadline. It was going to be the end of the month, but we're going to give folks another month another week, I'm sorry, to create a design, easy to do, draw it out on paper. If you're listening and you've got kids or you know kids, anybody from pre-K to senior in high school, send that in and they might get to make some Blinko glass or design some Blinko glass. So fun stuff. Matt, anything else you'd like to add before we wrap up?
No, I think you've hit a lot of good topics here, and it's great to get connected with the folks at Stockmiere. They've been a really great asset to North Central West Virginia and the state of West Virginia. Again, I know our agency and the ownership, Chris and his team goes way back many years as they continue to grow their facility there in Harrison County. And it's also good partner up there with WVU MEP as well. I mean, we've had a great relationship. It goes all the way back to my early days at the what was then the development office with David Carrick. He and I hitting the road together, and David introducing me to companies that I wasn't aware of in my new region, Northern Panhandle, and now North Central. And I guess the overall message I continue to get out to companies, businesses, the economic development agencies and offices that are in my E-County region, there is a business assistance programs out there that can cover a lot of different topics, a lot of different resources. We're just interested in find out the best resource to help the companies. It's there. We just need to get more awareness, create more relationships, keep up the communication. But there are assistance programs there, and we're all glad to help and to help push West Virginia forward in economic development, job creation, and so forth. So glad to participate with MEP again, and as always, you guys are a great asset to the state.
Oh, thank you, and yeah, right back at you. It's a great partnership that we've got, and always excited to work with you, Matt. And thanks again to Mike and Jeffrey for joining us and sharing us a little bit of the inside of what's going on there at Stockmiere. Again, I can't talk enough about the great culture. Even though I haven't been there, all of our team just loves to go there. And Stacy, our director, I think she would move in if you guys would let her. So we're not going to let that happen though. But
excellent. We're happy to hear it.
Good. All right. Well, we'll be sending out a recording to this to anybody who registered, and it'll be up on YouTube. Feel free to share that liberally for anybody who would benefit from this information. And keep an eye on wvmep.com for future events. And looking forward to seeing everybody again real soon.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Appreciate it.
Great day.